Hi, everybody. I'm Anne Marie Hoftailing. I am the CEO of Story Imprinting, and this is Hat Chats. Hence the vintage Joseph Magnin bucket hat here. A little green faux fur for you today. I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoy. For those of you, not us, because I know why I'm here. For those of you who are stumbling across this channel for the first time, this is a program I do regularly where I wear a hat and chat about things that I find interesting or valuable or problematic for a few minutes and allow you to come back to me. So with that said, today I want to talk about this very thing, this hat I'm wearing and all these crazy colors behind me. I had this lovely dinner over the weekend with a friend of mine, and he said, where did you get this whole color thing and style thing and the way you dress? And I often say that there's a story for everything. We are all born a story and become more of ourselves through our story. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this. Most people don't run around wearing green lipstick, and certainly not a lot of people in the world I run in. But that said, this is how I got here. So my mother grew up really poor on a sugarcane plantation in Waialua, Hawaii, and she had very, very little. In fact, I just wrote a piece of free verse that I published on Medium. If you care to go check out my writing there, you can find it under Anne Marie Hoftailing. And for her, she didn't really have nice things ever. She had almost nothing. And when she had kids, the idea of keeping a clean home and presenting yourself beautifully was really important. There was a whole lot my mother could not control in her life. She was frequently abused. She had very little money. She had very little education. But this idea that to be clean and presentable cost you nothing, to express yourself beautifully cost you very little. So she often took me shopping, my sisters and my brother and I shopping at thrift stores, and we would carefully select things that we found beautiful and bright and bold, and she would clean them and press them. My mother would never allow us to walk out of the house with something that wasn't ironed. And for her, it wasn't about perfection. It was about finding an element of control. And when she was very little, she would tell me this story about how a neighbor gave her some sandals and she didn't have shoes for a really long time. So she was super excited about these sandals, but the sole of the shoe was pulling away from it. And so she tried to glue it together with like rice paste with rice, that gets really sticky. But of course that didn't work. So my mother's stories to me were often about hand-me-downs and dresses that she felt very important in, that somebody gave her because they were beautiful. And so for my mom, this idea of dressing yourself, of putting yourself together, was a way of self-expression. It was an element of self-control, and it definitely got passed along to me. And I really love style. I really love color. I really love things that are unique. My mother came from Hawaii, so really bright, bold color was joyous and celebratory and something she really adored and something I came to love as well. And I share this with all of you just to say, to give you a little background and and a question that constantly comes up and to answer that, but also as a tool to think about who you are and how you show up in the world in your own style. There is no right or wrong way of being in the world. There's simply your way of being. And I think it's interesting to think about your own story and where that comes from and where that is rooted, and to honor that and share that with other people. I think it brings people greater understanding, and we talk endlessly about diversity, inclusion, and equality, but we don't think about it often in these small ways, about how someone shows up and why they might be wearing those big bright earrings or those bold shirts or whatever it is. And part of that is the culture and their story and their background. And that is in part my own culture and story and background. So as always, I thank you so much for showing up today, for being part of this conversation. It feels like a small, intimate world where I'm able to make connection with you. I really appreciate the emails I get. They're very, very meaningful to me. So please continue to send them. Also, it would be very helpful to us if you could give this video a thumbs up If you could subscribe and make a comment below. If there are certain questions you have, please ask them of me. It would be my pleasure to answer them. I really appreciate when you guys ask me questions, because I think that that makes this really about you and not what I think I should be talking about, but about what you want to hear and need to hear right now. So reach out. Please ask your questions in the comments and I'll make sure to answer them in the next video. And thank you so much for showing up. Have a fabulous day.